They're taking it today, 28.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There is a whole cross section of the public who have just gone.
Oh, hard though.
Anyway, it is still not Samuel Mbura's birthday, no matter what he does. But I'll tell you what it is. It is the day that we bring you this all-important hotline documentary. Plastics have been a struggle that we're not the only country that has been embroiled in. We can't figure out what the right way is to use and dispose of these plastics without causing damage to our environment and to ourselves.
Right.
This documentary really outlines some of the damage that it causes to our bodies. And we'll be getting into that shortly. Before all of that good stuff, the international betting company 1xBet is ready to offer an incredible selection of sports betting, mobile games, and of course your favorite online casinos 7 days a week. 1xBet collects over 1,000 celebrity sports matches for you, so you just have to try your luck. The first deposit of new players will be increased by 3 times your winnings and can be easily withdrawn using international payment systems, and the list of gifts for players includes popular smartphones, top laptops, gaming accessories, and even cars. Become the master of your own destiny with 1xBet. 1xBet, your reliable bookmaker.
And are you looking for a lifetime experience filled with adventure, luxury, fun, and relaxation on both land and sea? Well, then look no more, because Adanse Travels, your 2022 GTA Best Tour Operator in Ghana, in partnership with your cruise people, brings you the most exciting cruise through the most famous islands across the Mediterranean Sea: Santorini, Mykonos, Kusadasi, Patmos. The tour also takes you to Greece, Turkey, Italy, and Spain. All this comes with flights: Accra, Athens, Barcelona, Accra, Athens, Rome, Barcelona, 3 nights on Celestia Olympia, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on cruise, all-inclusive drink package on cruise, 1 night in Athens, 3 nights in Rome, 3 nights in Barcelona. Daily breakfast and dinners on land, exclusions, selected tours in Rome and Barcelona, or transfers, Schengen visa fees, visa support, travel insurance. It's an experience of a lifetime.
There was one place you didn't mention.
No, I did not. It's still
the one that starts with
a
C.
Mediterranean experience,
Please
isn't
make
it?
it complete, okay?
Please, what's the one that starts with C?
It's let's make history together on this trip. It's from the 6th to the 17th of April. 6th to the 17th of April 2023. Book your spot now. Contact Adanse Travels by calling or sending a WhatsApp to 059 5500817 or 0552 648 267. Raymond, I hope you've taken the numbers.
Yes.
Locate Adanse Travels. They are in East Legon, American House. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Listen,
The final
get on board.
destination, no?
This will be fun. This
Yes.
will be
You
fun.
didn't mention that last destination.
Which one is that?
Yeah.
You know when we're in primary school, there was this textbook.
Kusadasi.
No, not that one.
Yes.
The one that starts with C.
Patmos.
With C. Eh? Oh, you won't say it.
Mykonos.
No, C.
Ah. Okay.
See, when we
Yeah.
were in primary school, there was this textbook that we used for English language, and there was a story about a hawk and a chicken, or something. A chicken went to play the hawk's drums or whatever, and you remember the song they were singing? Crickety soya.
Crits.
I'm giving her a hint. Listen, Vodafone Business presents Too Much Business, the #1 mobile plan for businesses in Ghana today. With Vodafone Too Much Business, you have the best mobile plan on the market that gives your business the best value. That means you have the flexibility to choose voice, data, and SMS packages that suit your business, suits its size and its ambitions. Get more minutes for Vodafone to Vodafone calls and calls to other networks, data and SMS all in one complete mobile package. Experience free calls among your employees and roll over any unused data. Now you can take your business to the next level. With Vodafone Too Much Business, send the word START to 050 777 9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com to sign up now. Vodafone, further together.
And every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving you with 10 times stronger teeth. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter is fortified with profluoride and microcalcium ingredient, sealing tiny and invisible holes in your teeth. This prevents cavities, keeps your teeth strong and mouth healthy. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, maximum cavity protection, 10 times stronger teeth. 25 years educating to brush day and night. Pepsodent is recommended by the Ghana Dental Association, and there are two other highly effective variants of Pepsodent on the market. Pepsodent Charcoal, made with a fine blend of activated charcoal and lemon essence. Pepsodent Charcoal White gently polishes away tooth stains and naturally restores your bright smile. Pepsodent Herbal, for our herbal lovers. Try Pepsodent Herbal toothpaste, formulated from carefully selected natural extracts and uniquely blended herbs. Pepsodent Herbal releases, repairs, and protects gum tissue while giving you strong teeth. You can get Pepsodent at any shop near you. Call the customer care center on this toll-free number, 0800 2030. Always remember to brush your teeth in the morning and before you sleep at night. Pepsodent, every smile matters.
Raymond, do you know profluoride?
Yes.
Yes. Can you say it quickly 5 times?
Profluoride.
See, I might be innocent bystander. Nobody has called you.
Please, you said it for
Nobody
me.
has called you. 5 times. You said
That
it
should
twice.
trip on the second one.
He's never needed a spokesperson.
So why were you
please.
attempted? Yo,
I'll just add into what you were saying. Over
send
to
us,
you, Ray.
send us your voice notes of yourself saying profluoride quickly 5
Go.
times.
Go.
On
As Kojo said.
055 1111 997. Raymond,
As you have said,
profluoride.
I repeat same 5 times.
kind of Freemason answer is that? All right, listen. It's time for us to get into the issues of our hotline documentary. And look, plastics are a big problem in this country. Polluting our landscapes and poisoning our bodies. So we asked a few Ghanaians. I mean, before we even get into the documentary, we asked a few Ghanaians if plastic bottles were banned, what alternatives could we use? Let's listen to a few of their answers.
I would suggest that the policymakers and other duty bearers should take drastic measures by, first of all, banning the use of plastic bags. Now, this is evident in some African countries, particularly in Rwanda, where the use of plastic bags has been phased out and replaced with paper bags. We can also do the same in our country, Ghana. And also, with the use of plastic bottles, I am of the opinion that the government of Ghana should ban the use of non-recyclable plastics.
The menace of plastics in our country currently is something we need to work on. And an alternative to that is paper. Because paper can be recycled. Of course, plastic can be recycled, but we don't have the facility throughout the country. But paper, yes, at least we can find is a better and renewable source of product we can use when it comes to packaging and a whole lot.
So if there should be a ban, there should be specific with the ban that should be like the single-use plastics, not all plastics.
I feel as an alternative, we can go in for paper bag, just as Rwanda has adopted. And I think it's working for them. So why not adopt that as an alternative?
What I think can be done is, in one instance, government can first of all come out to say, okay, this is a policy, this is a law we are bringing out. Plastic producing companies, if you're able to cut your production of the plastics by 40% in your first 2 years, I'm going to give you 40% cuts in your taxes or your profit. So you make a profit of 100, government says 40 of that won't be taxed, we'll tax the 60 to encourage plastic producers to look for alternatives to combat the plastics pollution in the system. Back in the days when our parents used to send us to get stuff from a town and whatnot, when you are stepping out, you go out with a basket, a bowl, and a neatly washed napkin. Then you step out, you buy whatever you buy, and you come back. No plastic waste was generated. You just go, and that was it. We used to walk around with our water bottles, we used to call it water bottles. Everybody had their water bottle. You just needed to fill it up. All these things are ways in which we can phase out the use of plastics that is causing a lot of problems in this country.
Yeah, well, that's what some of you think. But the problem is interesting. First of all, there are alternatives, are there not?
There are.
I remember going to buy cocoa, sometime back when you are sent to go and buy cocoa, they add or you pick a flask or something from home. You never went empty-handed.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I was telling you about this story that was shared with me yesterday, where in Germany, a coffee shop says, no more, what they call it, plastic cups or whichever cup, bring your own. And to illustrate the point, they have a section of the floor in the coffee shop where they have just put down all the many cups people have consumed within a year, to show you that that's the massive devastation we are doing to the environment. So if you don't bring your own cup, they are not serving you. And of course, they got massive publicity for it. The German government says now to support that particular coffee shop. So if they lose customers, they'll make up for it. With the idea that if you get more of the coffee shops following, we'll get some of the action being done. Now, could you give me a few minutes? Let me just run through what's been happening across the world so people know it's not only in our case that we need to do something about it. In Canada, in 2021, the government drafted a single-use plastics prohibition regulation. And I'm proposing that we as a country can just pick up this law, fine-tune it, and use it for Ghana. Now, the aim of these regulations will be to prohibit the manufacture, import, and sale of 6 categories of single-use plastics, including checkout bags, cutlery, and rain carriers. The implementation of these measures, of course, will soon be put in place. In China, since 2021, they banned single-use plastics and utensils from major cities, and single-use straws were banned nationwide. So they selected the other ones for major cities, and they did it nationwide. In Chile, earlier last year, Chile started phasing out single-use plastic at restaurants and food delivery services. These changes will take full effect by 2024, so they are graduating it. That's what they are doing in Chile, and are projected to reduce by more than 23,000 tons of plastic annually.
That's a lot.
Yes. Egypt has launched several, of course, I'm saying you say these are foreign countries, not African countries, but Egypt has launched several social enterprises to tackle plastic pollution. Ballastic delivers workshops, training, and beach cleanups and various environmental events as a way of offering alternatives to single-use plastics. So far, they have collected over 2,000 kilograms of plastic waste, and Egypt's Minister for Environment announced a partnership, which is to see that they will do it across the entire country, and this will lead to eventual ban of single-use plastic. Yes, there's also a very nice story you should know about India, right? India started in July 2022. They banned the production and use of single-use plastics through the northwestern states. India is now promoting bamboo-based alternatives to plastic in an effort to provide economic opportunities to local and indigenous communities in different regions. There's another interesting thing happening in Indonesia. There's a presidential decree as far back as 2018, which created a plan to reduce marine plastic debris by 2025. And of course, the ministry has also they've rolled out what's called a roadmap to reduce unrecycled plastic waste by 30%. Japan is also implementing what's called a plastic recycling strategy for just single-use plastics, and this is being carried out across the country. Kenya has a very interesting startup that's doing a lot of work in the area of promoting alternatives to single-use plastic here. And Mexico City launched what is called an initiative focusing on reducing waste through the promotion of social, cultural elements, which engages in waste separation. Then the separated waste, you get stars for it. Then you get full stamps for it. Then you eventually get money for it. That's what's happening in Mexico. Namibia also has a ban on single-use plastics in most of their protected areas, including their places that they recently have called environmental investment fund areas. Yes, there are similar things happening in Netherlands, in Norway, and also in Portugal. Russia has plans to ban the use of disposable plastics, and it's next year that's supposed to take effect. And currently, producers are required to pay for 10% of the environmental cost which is associated with plastics. So the producers are the ones who are going to pay for it anyway. And Spain has instituted a fee for single-use plastics. So whatever you buy, if it has anything connected to single-use plastic, you get a 30% increase in that particular product. So countries specifically targeting policy, some of them very soft, some of them very hard policies, geared just largely at making sure. And you see, I like the way they isolate, for example, single use, and some of them specifically select products that they want to target to.
And single-use plastics are those plastics that we're likely to use once, and those are the plastics that end up in the sea.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing. Plastic, by its nature, does not degrade for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when you throw it somewhere, it will basically be there for hundreds of years. So, you know, doing things like landfill and so forth with it, it's just pointless. It will just be there. All right, people end up throwing it in the sea, thinking they've got rid of it, but no, it comes back to us. It dirties our shores. The fish eat it. We eat the fish. It's terrible. In fact, this documentary that we're about to share with you will give you the reality, okay, of what happens to the plastics that we are peppering and dirtying our landscapes with. And I think it's time we can enjoy that documentary now. So here we go. One of the many, out of the plentiful plastic waste generated in Ghana, the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation says only 10% gets recycled. The remaining 90% ends up in the sea as debris, threatening not only marine life, but also human lives, and of course, particularly that of coastal dwellers in Ghana. The most dangerous hazard of this situation is the exposure of toxins found in plastic waste, which ends up ingested by humans. Richard Kojo has been taking a look at its impact on the environment in this 25-minute documentary called A Sea of Plastics.
Complex na damo rubber na din obi fi kole num ti na mesmo yihu ya ho nya edu mi say kopo na ya to ebo na iwura nkotin ye mpa na mkrumpo.
The ocean and our water bodies cover 70% of our planet, and we rely on them for food, energy and water.
Since it's not biodegradable, it floats on the sea, and when the fishermen cast their net, especially those at the beach scene, when they catch their net, they harvest more plastics than that of a fish.
However, microplastics, abandoned fishing gear, and other plastic pollution are among our biggest environmental threats, and this is affecting the fisheries resources and those that depend on the sea. Jamestown is one of the biggest coastal communities in Accra. In the heart of what has now become a slum is the Kole Lagoon. Once upon a time, it was the habitat for aquatic life, mainly tilapia, mudfish, crabs, and shrimps. What remains of it today are sachet rubbers, empty plastic bottles, and other types of solid wastes. It banks, drowned in the stench of feces from residents who do not have toilets in their homes.
The
plastics you see here are from some of us who gather our rubbish from our homes and come and dump them in the sea. Instead of them to gather the rubbish and properly dispose them, they wait until it's raining and then they pour them in the gutters and the lagoon. When they pour them in the gutters, the rainwater flushes them through to the sea. And this is the outcome of our activities at home. And this causes havoc for we the fishermen. And that's why sometimes we catch more plastics than fish. As for the plastics, it is in abundance. It's everywhere along the beach. The plastics at the beaches are really worrying us, and we pray something is done to flush out the plastics from the ocean.
Kwesi Nyakon is a fisherman here in Jamestown. He viciously laments how plastic pollution has affected the fishing industry.
It's been difficult for us. When the tides are heavier, we tend to suffer because some of the plastics entangle our outboard motors, and if care is not taken, one may get an accident. It entangles the outboard motors often.
It's almost sunset and the day's toil is almost over. Kwesi Nyakon is sorting out the crabs he caught that day, separating the big ones from the tiny little ones. The golden sunset cast its shadow over the old-looking canoes just nearby. People like Kwesi Nyakon, who are the most affected by this problem, say a lot needs to be done to save the industry. Even though he yearns for a change, he is cautiously optimistic that something will change.
Complex na damo Roberts na din obi fi kole num ti na mesmo yihu ya ohonyen edu mi say kopo na ya to abo na iwura nkotin ye mpa na mkrumpo ti da mesmo rihu da nsunu do bola pinye no nsunu do ya spark machine na ye rekwa afa ya machine ko pelan.
The garbage really worries us. Diapers and all manner of garbage are really a nuisance to us. We can go fishing and return with virtually no fish. All of them will be plastics. The plastic often entangle the propeller of the outboard motor. The garbage emanates from the Kole Lagoon, and we also contribute immensely from our various homes. We generate the rubbish from upstream, and it flows directly into the sea. When they bring the rubbish and you tell them to send them to the proper place, they won't even mind you. When we cast the net, we don't catch fish. We rather harvest diapers, rubbers and other stuff.
Bola, pad, complex, nyama bebre. I was a baby one or the bola no call. Now, if you want for bola no call, what about in for 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, what about to go punano? No, so or the consume.
Kojo Ejumakon, another fisherman who has been in the industry for years, paints a picture that's not entirely different from that of Kwesi Nyako. The huge dip in their catch, the incessant accident on the sea, and the garbage in the sea worry him gravely. As he sits, a dozen fishmongers walk past him after the day's work. He reminisces how clean the beaches were yesteryears.
Ocean-bound plastic is a critical issue, and there has been instances of fishers also dropping plastics at sea as bags of sachet water are sent to sea, but the empty sachet do not come back.
Nana Kweja is the president of the Canoe and Fishing Gear Owners Association of Ghana. He understands the enormity of the pollution of the sea.
We have engaged some canoe owners, and we will continue engaging canoe owners and fishers as to what fishers can do to address the plastic pollution that we find at the landing beaches. Going forward, we are looking at setting up model communities, supplying them with dustbins to be able to separate waste at the landing beaches so that plastics can be taken away, probably to firms who are into recycling and who can even buy these plastics from fishers who collect them.
Over 300 million tons of plastics are produced each year, 10 million tons of which enters the ocean. The ocean has greatly slowed the rate of climate change as a result. It has also trapped an estimated 90% of the excess heat created by the climate warming gases. Ocean Hub, a research organization, estimates that globally about 8 million metric tons of plastics are dumped into the sea annually. 80% of these plastics that end up in the sea are from land-based sources, and thus poses a huge challenge to the human populace. Data from the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology indicates that in Ghana, the plastic composition of waste generated in the country has been increasing over the years. In 1992, it was 0.7% of waste generated in the country. In 2008, it increased to 2.8%. In 2019, it shot up to 17%. It is feared that the trajectory of increase will continue if nothing is done to deal with the tons of waste that get into the ocean on a daily basis.
It's really a challenge. In terms of the total plastics waste that is generated, Ghana does about 0.84 million metric tons annually. 10%, only 10% is recycled. About 9% finds itself in the ocean. So we had a look at the global perspective, and we are seeing that the same thing is reflecting in country, where a chunk of the waste that we generate finds itself into the sea. In terms of the impact, very key impacts. Another report by the World Wildlife Foundation, which also indicates that averagely, an average person ingests into your system approximately 5 grams of plastics weekly. And to bring it home, the 5 grams of plastics can be likened to a credit card, the size of a credit card on the average every week. That's the quantity of plastics that we inject into our system, because obviously the plastics have penetrated through our food chain. So you sit in Accra, you have your delicious fried rice and chicken and whatnot, and you think that, oh, I mean, the presentation is good, I cooked it well, there's nothing, but you have no idea the chemicals.
Lydia Esua is a director for policy planning, monitoring and evaluation at the Ministry of Science, Environment and Technology. Lydia is worried about the environmental impact of the garbage that is dumped in the ocean.
On the average, it's having a toll on us. Because of the ingestion of the plastics, we are having issues, or the effects of plastics is also being seen in terms of some human health issues that are confronting people. So the issue of obesity, the issue of fertility, not having or having challenges to give birth because of the fact that the plastics are able to mutate the way the hormones are in our system and are able to interfere with the way the hormones operate. So it's really an issue. The other thing, impact that I shouldn't forget to mention, has to do with the issues of livelihood.
The Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology details some of the interventions that have been put in place to ensure that Ghana reduces the huge tonnage of garbage dumped in the ocean.
One of the key things that we are doing is working with the Basel, Rotterdam and Stockholm Convention, the Secretariat, with support from NORAD, the Norwegian Development Agency, right, to roll out interventions. So one of the key pilot projects that we did is providing incentives for the collection of fishing nets. Some of the fishing nets are made from plastics. So we have nylon fishing nets. After they use, it gets torn and etc. There should be a place where they will dispose it of. But most of the times they leave it in the sea. And over time it creates a lot of problems. The fishes are eating and eventually it gets on our table. We've talked about that. So we rolled out this intervention to collect the nylon fishing nets from the sea at the Jamestown and Nyanyano. Like I said, it was a pilot. Lessons have been learned and the ministry intends to further roll it out. Again, working with the BRS Secretariat, we also engage an NGO, Plastic Punch, to lead in a beach cleaning campaign. A whole lot of plastics, volumes of plastics were also collected in that regard. Again, we partner NGOs. I mentioned Plastic Punch. There are other NGOs that like the Coastal Conservancy Organization, which put out the floating track to block the plastics from entering the sea.
The devastation that plastics are causing the fishing industry is far-reaching. Researchers have recently found alarming levels of plastics in the bellies of fishes, not in the ocean alone, but in Ghanaian lagoons too. Microplastics that end up in water bodies become even more difficult to manage because marine creatures ingest it.
On the spawning grounds affects the life forms which the fishes lives on. Therefore, you may not have a lot of fish spawning in there, and therefore it affects the supply of fingerlings or other varieties to the ocean. The second one is the plastic on our beaches. It also affects the livelihoods of the community in the sense that a dirty beach is not suitable for any form of alternative livelihood, for tourism purposes, for swimming and other forms of recreational activities. Then the rest that goes into the sea, definitely, since it's not biodegradable, it floats on the sea. And when the fishermen cast their net, especially those at the beach scene, when they catch their net, they harvest more plastics than that of a fish. So if you waste your energy to harvest more plastics than fish, then that likely affects your livelihood, because you cast the net into the sea, spend the whole day to pull it out. So the amount of money you spend, the amount of energy or efforts you spend going to sea and pulling it, and realizing that, oh, you harvest more plastics than the fish that you intend to harvest and sell for your livelihoods, all those along the beaches.
Professor Kofi Nyako is the country lead for Ocean Hub, an organization that's working to create an enabling environment for the integrated challenge-led ocean governance research. Professor Nyako is sounding alarm bells on how the plastics and garbage in the ocean are affecting marine life and the general livelihood of fishes who depend on the ocean.
The government needs to hold the bull by the horn by trying to not ban plastic in its entirety, but to reduce the production of plastics. Then the other point is the sorting of plastics. We should encourage the sorting of waste, where plastics are sorted and sent for recycling activity, so that only the vegetal material or biodegradable materials will be deposited at the dump site, so that we can even use that also as compost, you know. So the other point is that as a country, on our rivers, on our streams, we should also have traps that would trap the plastics, you know. In various drainage systems, you design a trap that would trap plastics or probably debris, and you should be removing it almost every time.
Civil society organizations have been at the forefront of campaigns aimed at ridding the ocean of plastics and other garbage. One such organization is the Green Africa Youth Organization.
You just look at it from a fish ingesting pieces of microplastics, and then you, a fisherman, even assuming that they are able to harvest these fish and then bring it to shore. The fact that you are likely to consume the same plastics that the fish has in its system means that you are exposed. That is one direct linkage with humanity. The other thing is also the fact that a lot of these aquatic life ingest these things. Microplastics look like a lot of the seaweed or the food that they eat, right? And some of them are even transparent, so they just ingest them. Now, this can lead to some of the fish becoming actually barren, not able to reproduce. So such a species can go extinct with time. Some of them also just die and waste in the water, you know. So with time, you are not only having the risk of ingesting plastics through the food you eat, but you're also having a risk of not getting enough. And then that is where the discussion of food availability and food security comes in, because we talked about a number of times how the goal to end hunger is, how to ensure that people have a livelihood is. And now if you have a situation where people are not even able to afford a meal because it is not there, that could be more the worst case scenario.
Desmond Alunwa is co-founder of the Green Africa Youth Organization and the Africa Program Manager for the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives. Mr. Alunwa is proposing alternatives such as water dispensers that will be in the form of ATMs.
So the first that we started doing is tackle the social aspect of it. Let people understand where they stand as far as plastics is concerned. We did this data to prove that if you drink this number of sachet water and you don't know where it ends, it is probably in the sea, and this is the impact that it will cause. And then we further then started the actual implementation of the projects that I mentioned to you. So at the moment we've built 3 material recovery facilities. Now these are just space we created for people who work around waste to station their waste. So we are encouraging every district that we are working with to sort of encourage source separation. So separate your waste at home, and then we will make sure that you get the various benefits from the waste. Whether it is organics, whether it is plastics, you have people who are keen to take this. In the facility in New Edu PSA alone, we are producing 2,000 kilograms of compost fertilizer every month. And that is as a result of people being able to segregate. If you are not segregating, it will be heavily contaminated, and that wouldn't happen. It will end up at the dump site. So we try to let people, and here in the Lekma, we have the buyback center. In Labadi, we have a buyback center. And then again in Labadi, we have a bigger facility called the material recovery facility, which the municipality is housing. Now, we bring, on daily basis, people are bringing their plastic waste, especially the PET, and they are getting appreciable value, because it's like you bring it, it's a buyback center. You bring your waste, you get money for it. So it gives people the encouragement that if you take this amount of waste there, which is plastics, you get money.
Government, together with the Global Plastic Action Partnership, launched a national plastic management policy in October 2019. The policy seeks to provide a comprehensive plan for the management of plastics to drive sustainable development, green job creation, and environmental protection. For fishes like Kwesi Nyakon, government has to give an urgent attention in order to save the sea.
Our beaches are not really clean. Elsewhere, the chief fisherman can direct that today, let's not go fishing, and they will heed to the directive. He can direct that communal labor should be done to clean our beaches, and it will be done. But here, they won't even mind you.
The Director for Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Science, Environment and Technology, Lydia Isuya, says the ministry is putting together a policy document to deal with the situation.
For instance, the immediate things that we may have to look at has to do with the single-use plastics. The ones, banku rubbers, the bread, the carry-on, those items. But we are conscious of the fact that currently there are businesses that manufacture those things. So we cannot come up one day and say that, look, we have banned this. What happens to the money they've invested into equipment? Yeah. So we engage them. Again, because the producers, the importers and manufacturers are putting out the products on the market, they have a responsibility to ensure that they put in place collection centers, buyback centers to collect the products they put out there. That the private sector is supposed to come up with a collection center. So if I buy your bottled water or any products, and you have set up a collection center, so I know that after using it, I must take it to this collection center, and the education is ongoing. So to see whether things have changed is a process. In terms of the collection as well, my honorable minister has also put out this concept of the grid system. Currently, the collection of plastics is incentive based on the quantity. So you collect your plastics, you go, it is weighed, multiplied by a certain amount that is per ton or anything, and then you are given the money. So the new thinking that the honorable minister has brought on board is that we have this grade system where if you take this ministry and claim, we grade it, give it out to collectors. And when we come, the monitoring or inspection officers come and they don't see any plastics on the grade that has been given to you, you are incentivized, provided some reward. So instead of weighing and getting the money, we are changing it to the
society to have done literally nothing to combat this. Yeah, that was disturbing. But when we come back, we'll start to ask the deeper questions. Professor Kofi Nyarko, Richmond Kennedy Kwaku, and Emmanuel Quist join us, hopefully with solutions.
Super Morning Show.
Hey, nowadays, germs are in the air. Aren't you concerned?
Concerned about what?
About the children, of course. In times like this, they sneeze, cough, and fall ill just like that.
This is why we need to give our children and ourselves a fighting chance with the maximum protection of Dettol soap. Dettol soap not only refreshes you, but it can be used for bathing and washing hands. So keep calm, get Dettol soap.
Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Dettol is endorsed by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
This advert is FDA approved.
When the world looks at my child, they just see an energetic 8-year-old. But I see more. My Lucy is going to become captain of her school volleyball team, keep excelling in class, and do great things one day. I see a champion. So when I give her Milo with her breakfast every day, it's all part of waking up the champion in her.
Don't just wake up your child, wake up the champion in her. Let Milo with Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa help wake up the champion in your child every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn. You know both. You know chop. Where it vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor gets water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank gets meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
The EU delegation to Ghana, in partnership with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, presents the 3rd edition of the Circular Economy Seminar on Thursday, the 2nd of March 2023 at the Grand Arena, Accra International Conference Center at 8:30 a.m. The seminar intends to create awareness on the need to change from a linear to a circular economy. Register to participate in the Circular Economy Seminar or book a booth to exhibit your product and services by visiting eu-cec.com/seminar. Deadline for registration is Monday, the 27th of February 2023. For more information, call 020-201-8870 or email seminar@eu-cec.com.
OneXBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. OneXBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at onexbet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. OneXBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Someone smells great here. And fresh, my love. I wish I could stay in the shower all day. I know, right? Nothing beats a bath with geisha soap. It smells so good, it lasts long, and it's enriched with natural ingredients that work wonders for my skin. And it now comes with a fresh new look, giving us even more reasons to love our geisha bar.
New and improved geisha soap. Great new look, better fragrance, same natural ingredients, still all last time. This advert is FDA approved.
Be strong and last long. Like geisha.
Charlie, so it's actually raining and we can't hear any sound. As for this, your house, when it's raining, no sound. When the sun is up, the interior is cool. What roof are you using?
They use Ico roofing shingles from Interface Limited. Long lasting and beautiful.
Ico roofing shingles. We all for move to Interface and get this Ico roofing shingles.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook Interface Limited GH. Instagram Interface.limited.
coffee in your cup, and joy on the set, the Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
You're welcome back. It's the Super Morning Show. 9:25 is the time. We've just made our way through that revealing documentary on the situation with our plastics, Ocean of Plastics, by Richard Kojo Nyako. All right. Now, our guests are Professor Kofi Nyako. He's a country lead for One Ocean Hub. It's a research project on plastic waste management. We also have Richmond Kennedy Kwaku, who is the director of Plastic Punch. He's also a member of the Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies Management Committee at the University of Ghana. Also, Emmanuel Quist, head of corporate communications for Blochem Industries Limited. It's a major plastic producing company here in Ghana. Gentlemen, good morning to you all.
Hi, good morning.
All right. Now, I want to start. I want to start with you, Professor Kofi Nyako. Look, I mean, the size of the problem is quite well illustrated in this documentary. Yeah. But as Ghanaians, are we yet to understand the effect of our use and abuse of plastic on our well-being?
Thank you very much, Mr. Youngson, and the team. Well, as a country, I think a lot of education has gone on. But the health effect and its effect on our lives is properly not understood. That we need a lot to be done to let people understand the effect of the use of plastics on our day-to-day activities and our health, or on our lives. Yeah.
Okay. So what accounts for this lack of information, this lack of knowledge? I mean, the thing is affecting us. How are we so ignorant of it?
In a country, when we get used to a particular item, it's very hard to let it go. Very, very hard to let it go off. And moreover, for it to go off, then we need a conscious effort from the policymakers and also the enforcers, so that whatever we have, we'll let it go. Because plastic came in. Plastic came in because we were saying that using our local material, especially leaves for wache and all those things, were not too hygienic, and plastic is the best. So even if you bought wache in leaves, you were mocked at. But now we've realized that no, wache is more biodegradable, the leaves is more biodegradable than the use of the plastic. Plastic has got a lot of effect, especially on the life forms within our environment, which I think ignorantly most Ghanaians don't know.
Let's talk about at least one of those life forms, aquatic life. In general, I mean, what is the real effect of our use of plastic on our aquatic life?
Yeah, in terms of that, we're looking at the distribution of parasites and pathogens. Floating plastics tends to enhance or contribute to the distribution of parasites. So movement of parasites from one endemic zone to the other definitely will affect the aquatic life forms. Then most aquatic life forms also see the plastics as food. So in this case, plastics are not digestible. Therefore, eating a lot of plastic, taking a lot of plastic may lead to their extinction and their death. And some get even entangled within the life forms, within the plastics.
Yeah.
So these are some of the areas that affects the aquatic life forms.
Right. I want to bring in Emmanuel Quist at this point because at Blochem, you are actually, if I may say so, implementing some of the things that might be the solution to this problem. Talk us through some of those.
Hi, Kojo. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So I'd like to clarify where I'm coming from, my company. So there are two sister companies. Okay, so Blowplast is a purely plastics manufacturing company, and then Blowchem is a food and beverage manufacturer. So Bell Aqua, Bell Beverages.
Well, Emmanuel, if I may, can you please move away from the radio, or perhaps switch it off and just listen to us on the phone? Hello, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, can you hear us? Hello. Hello. Right, we'll have to reconnect with Emmanuel. The line is not great. But we also have Richmond Kennedy Kwaku of Plastic Punch. So, look, the conversations about solutions are so varied, and it would appear the ultimate solution would be to just completely ban the use of single-use plastics. But that seems to be, a difficult thing to implement, maybe more of a long-term solution. What can we do now? What can we do now to at least stem the tide of the effects that our misuse of plastic is having on our bodies and our environment? Do we have Richmond Kwaku?
Hi, Kojo. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks so much for having this very important discussion. One which, of course, is very pertinent to the future of the nation and for the future generation. The problem with plastic and its solutions comes in different variables. And from where we stand at Plastic Punch, we believe that reduction is the way to go. We place specific emphasis on reduction whilst we enhance other things like recycling. So for solutions, I would want to say it in different folds. First of all, the individual solution. A lot of elaboration has been made by Dr. Nyako, by Lydia. We've heard all the effects that plastic has on humans. And when we reduce, doing simple things like we used to do, growing up in Ghana 20 years ago, when you go to the market, you go with a basket. When you go to get food, I remember always going with a bowl. Going for cocoa, I remember always going with a flask. This was not producing any plastic or any waste in the thing. Some years later, what happened? When they used to go to get cocoa, wache, food, they take it in plastic. No one takes the bowl from the home. We don't take bags, reusable bags or baskets. Now, what happens is this is affecting our health. The baseline, which we mostly forget, is that these plastics are from a hydrocarbon base. They are a byproduct of fossil fuel. So when you have this plastic and you have a benquine inside or you have water inside, all these chemicals with the heat are leaking into what you are eating, going to cause a lot of potential health threats. So beyond polluting the environment, we are killing ourselves. Some of which we do not know yet what the effects will be. But definitely we know there will be some variations of cancer, infertility, and other traits that scientists are finding out more. So, reduction, that's the first solution. In our home, things start with that. When we go to get food, go with a reusable bowl, go with your own reusable bag. When you get the food, you wash the bowl. And then you use it the next time. It is estimated, social scientists say that carrying a reusable bag alone will help you reduce 10,000 pieces of single-use plastic. That's that black rubber bag that we carry in a year. So just by taking action, by getting a reusable bag, we are reducing that black polythene bags that you would have been taking from the market. That would contribute to polluting the ocean where our fish are post. in communities that we serve also at Plastic Punch, will not get fitted. I catch them up plastic that fitted. Go to Pram Pram, go to Adam, go to Dansoman, go to Papa, go to Jamestown. This is supposed to be happening by the UN, according to the UN, by the 2050. But we see this already. It's scary. Companies, what can companies do? And this is where, with the national stakeholder, national direction, we have the GIPA, the Ghana National Action Partnership, where there's a discussion there strongly for which Plastic Punch is also advocating for extended producer responsibility regime. When this direction comes to become policy, hopefully by December 2023, companies or plastic manufacturers would be held more responsible, not only for the product that they sell to us, but the full life cycle of the product. That will mean that if I find a company's brand empty bottle somewhere on the beach or in a gutter, it's for them. It's their responsibility, and then they would be held liable for those products. That is also one of the ways, and that is one of the discussions right now for which Plastic Punch is part of the policy task force, and we are having a very multi-stakeholder approach. And I want to use this opportunity again to tell the companies, please, 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 it's about time we become human around all these. People are losing livelihoods. We are making a lot of profit. We are making so much profit already. People are losing livelihoods. People are losing ancient sources of livelihood. 60% of the coastline of Ghana are fisher folk. And it's devastating what is happening. They need to be human around it when it comes to this discussion around extended producer responsibility. And also find alternatives to some of their products. Because, of course, some of these products can go back to glasses. We used to use glasses and we used to reuse them. Some companies are still doing that. Some alcoholic beverages still do that. You get a bottle, you take it back, and then you get it. Why can't we go back to this system? Why can't we sankofa? So, to solve this, we need to meet each other at different points. And, of course, we need a lot of investment into academia where there will be a lot of research and development, where we try to find alternatives to these plastics. Like what we have started doing at Plastic Punch, we're seeking to develop products that will look and feel like plastic, but from vegetable fiber, mostly from the post-harvest loss we find here in Ghana. So we started looking at fibers like coconut fiber, we're looking at sugarcane, we're looking at maize, we're looking at hemp, and we're looking at algae. We're looking at the possibility of different fibers that we can find over here in Ghana with collaboration with the University of California in San Diego and ISTOM in France. And these are the directions we should go. But of course, research and development also is very capital intensive, and we need a lot of support in this way. Government, of course, is the leader in this, in setting the policy direction. We need to, as much as possible, start banning some of the problematic plastics. Some of the plastics cannot be recycled. Some of them are just useless. We use them for 5 minutes and they stay here for 400 years, 500 years. They cannot be recycled. Nothing can be done to them. They destroy our health, and there's no need for them to be around in the environment. So this is my few points for now on the way and the direction. And really, we all have a role to play. We all have a role to play from all of us at home, me and you citizens, from segregation to reduction. We really believe in reduction because then when you reduce and you don't even create it, you don't create the waste. Okay. Then there's no point of managing
made that
it.
point. Yeah, thank you. I want to bring in Prof. Tell us. It looks bad already, but if things continue as they are, no reduction, no ban, nothing. If everything continues as it is, how much worse can the situation get?
Yeah. Thanks very much. Very, very well. From the studies we are conducting right now, various aquatic life forms and the dependent are being extinct or dying because of they preying on plastics. So in this regard, then the other form, there are other benefits or other people that depends on the ocean, especially the fisher folks. In this regard, poverty would increase if the aquatic life form reduces. Poverty would definitely will increase. And also nutrition would also be a problem for those people that rely on the aquatic life form for their nutrients. So in this regard, it's going to be worse. You have a lot of plastics, a lot of efforts you put in a lot of efforts in order to catch fish, especially those with a big fin. They would catch about 90% plastics, 10% fish. So the whole day is wasted. And we know that about 80% of marine litter are plastics.
Yeah.
80% are plastics. So in this regard, if it increases, it will definitely affect all the aquatic life form and all those who depend on the aquatic life form for their livelihood.
Now, Richmond, I mean, you sit, on the committee that has been looking into this and studying the situation. Tell me, why is a ban such a difficult conversation? I mean, even you are advocating reduction. Why would a ban be so difficult?
That's a very good question, and thanks for the question. Plastic, like we said, has a fossil fuel base. So all these oil companies, they have a very strong muscle financially to lobby and corrupt people. For example, you have an organization in Ghana over here which is set out to make sure that there's no ban on plastic. And that's what they are set out to do, which is a collection of private companies. So there's a big interest because people are making money from this same product, which is destroying the environment. And then people who are making this money will sell lies to us. They make us think that this product is so good and go and lobby so that these laws are not passed. But, however, with this Ghana Plastic Action Partnership that we have, where we have all stakeholders in a room and using a scientific process to identify what are the problematic plastics, and also with the leadership of the Ministry of Environment, I believe, unlike in previous years where there were instructions to ban plastic under 0.05 microns, and that was not done, we want to believe that this time around, with all these stakeholders on board and with the World Economic Forum and everyone, all partners behind, when these plastics are identified, we hope that these are enforced so that all these plastics are flushed out of the system.
Right. Okay. I want to say a big thank you to both of you. Professor Kofi Nyako, country lead for One Ocean Hub. It's a research project on plastic waste management. Richmond Kennedy Kwaku, who you just heard, is the director of Plastic Punch. He's a member of the Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies Management Committee at the University of Ghana. Thank you both for your time with us. It's the Super Morning Show. More after these.
It's big, it's mega, it's Celestial Praise 10, celebrating a decade of God's goodness. From Ghana, welcome your conference host, Celestine Donko, Emoji, PSA Esther, Obapa Christie, Nana Yawasari, Irene Logan, Javis Jokoto from Kenya, Evelyn Wanjuru from Nigeria, and